Turnover, Hampton-Sydney. Shot clock turned off. 15 seconds to work with. Suggs. Left to right. Mid-range. Dave. Nothing but nylon. Thacker to Young. A zip pass. Lackamy moves Lynchburg ahead for the first time tonight. The dime comes from the former Panther himself. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Davis against Hatfield. Stop, pop, Davis watches it drop. Gets in front of the pass intended for Shelby Wolf. Davis over to Sever for three, indeed. Hornets double their advantage.
Live from the Civic Center, it's the fourth and final game of the ODAC quarterfinals with 3-seed University of Lynchburg taking on 3-seeded Virginia Wesleyan University. TJ Wengert alongside Tim LaDuca for tonight's finale of the quarterfinals. Winner of this game will suit back up on Saturday at 3 p.m. to take on Guilford. And Tim, looking at these two sides, let's start with Virginia Wesleyan. One of the most consistent teams for the most part this season, and one that's headlined by first-team all-conference Tim Fisher.
Yeah, Tim Fisher. You ever heard of Marlins Man?
Mm-hmm.
The guy who goes to all the Marlins games? Well, this is D3 basketball's Marlins Man, because Tim Fisher, he's played in every single game that he has been a student at Virginia Wesleyan. 5th year, never missed a game. First-team All-ODAC, as you said, and leading in all the important stats for this team. He really does it all. 1.5 steals is something that's really interesting, averaging the double-double. And he's going to be a real thrill to watch.
17.3 points per game, 10.2 rebounds per contest, and second in the ODAC in double-doubles, trailing just T.C. Thacker, who we will not see tonight for Lynchburg. And transitioning to the Hornets now, I mean, there's not much more motivation you need to get up and out of the bed in the morning than the chance to take on a team for a third time in the season. You dropped the first two, Lynchburg with a chance for revenge today.
Yeah, but even looking back a little bit further than that, it's been 4 losses in a row for Lynchburg. The last time that they beat the Marlins was back in 2020. Only 4 players that you'll see tonight for Lynchburg were on that team.
This is the 58th all-time meeting between these two sides, and hasn't necessarily been close. Virginia Wesleyan 48-9 against the Hornets all time, and this is now the 3rd playoff meeting between the two squads. Virginia Wesleyan taking each of the previous 2, knocking out Lynchburg in the 2016-17 quarterfinals, 2019-2020 semis. So a lot of history between these two sides. And talking about Fisher on the other side, Theron Suggs is where the conversation has to start for Lynchburg.
Yeah, you know, 3rd-team All-ODAC player. He's been on the All-Conference team the last 4 seasons. Transferred in from Emory and Henry, where he did win an ODAC championship with the Wasps. He's going to have to be the leader tonight, but what I'm looking for is some ball movement from the Hornets and someone to step up alongside Theron Suggs, someone who I think we really need to underline stepping up in T.C. Thacker's presence as Theron Suggs, number 2, is Dow Dunton.
And Dunton's been really nice in taking over that T.C. Thacker role. You look at 15 and 10 at Ferrum, and then on Saturday when these two teams played in the regular season finale, 10 points, 18 rebounds against the Marlins in that game for Dunton. So that's a big one. And we'll talk about some keys to the game. I think one, 3-point shooting. In the 2 games in the regular season, Lynchburg shot 17.2% from beyond the arc. On the other side, Virginia Wesleyan in those 2 games, 38.5%. And this is a Hornets team that feels like as the 3-ball goes, they do as well.
Yeah, and another thing, to get open looks on the 3, you got to move the ball around. Looking at wins and losses split for Lynchburg, 13.7 assists in the wins, 8.5 assists in the losses. You get that ball movement, and I think Lynchburg's got a chance to finally break through and beat this Marlins team.
And one of the other stats that immediately jumps off the page, Lynchburg first in the ODAC in rebounds per game, north of 42 boards per contest. On the other side, Virginia Wesleyan last in the conference. Now, part of that, they have a pretty solid field goal percentage. They're actually one of the bottom teams inside the conference in field goal percentage defense, 3-point percentage defensively. So there's not a lot of misses to go around. So the number is skewed a little bit, but number 1 versus number 12, battle of the boards, that's a spot where if you're the Hornets, that's a pathway you have to take advantage of.
And like you said, Dow Dunton has stepped up in the position to, you know, win the glass battle. 18 rebounds, that's more than T.C. Thacker had this season. T.C. Thacker, of course, last year in the ODAC playoffs, he set a record for Lynchburg program history, 22 rebounds in the game. So they're going to miss T.C., but at this point, we have to focus on the 5 starters for Lynchburg to see if they can get the job done.
And perfect segue. Thank you for that. Let's introduce the starting lineup for both sides. Starting with Lynchburg, it's Theron Suggs, Izzy Lockett, Dow Dunton. Miles Taylor and Carrington Young, a very experienced bunch with the exception of Miles Taylor being the sophomore, but 5th consecutive start now for Taylor. And on the other side, Virginia Wesleyan, Tim Fisher, Corey Pelham, Omri DeVoe, Jordan Crump, and Eric Rowland. And I think Jordan Crump is a really interesting re-supplement inside the starting 5. He started all but 4 games until the final 5 of the regular season, comes off the bench, and he looked really comfortable in that role in the season finale against Lynchburg. How about 17 in the second meeting between those two sides, coming off the bench, but today back in the starting 5, replacing Miles Wallace in that starting lineup.
Yeah, the junior from Richmond, Virginia, he can stroke it from deep, 35.2%, second best on the team for the Marlins. And it's going to be a battle between two, I think, very evenly matched teams, TJ.
And in the stats, outside of the rebound category and maybe field goal percentage defense, Lynchburg top 5. Meanwhile, Virginia Wesleyan 10th in that stat. These two teams are neck and neck everywhere else.
Yeah, even you want to get down to the nitty-gritty, how about offensive efficiency? Just about 0.01% separating these two teams, points per 100 possessions.
That's the 100th decimal place that we're talking about as a difference? There you go, my high school math paying dividends. That tangent aside, players on the floor, it's down Dutton, opposite of Tim Fisher at half court. And we are now set and ready to get underway with our ODAC quarterfinal finale. 3 versus 6 matchup is underway. Taylor finds Suggs to bring it across half court, and Lynchburg looking for the chance to take down Virginia Wesleyan for the first time. 4 consecutive losses to the Marlins. Lockamy down low, well defended by Pelham, who gets the block from behind. In transition, DeVoe brings it out of the corner.
Pelham with the block there, but he has had some success against Lynchburg here in the playoffs. How about 30 points the last time he played Lynchburg in the playoffs?
And speaking of the block, that has statistically been a place where these two sides are even, as you're going to see Fisher called for the travel. But in 2 meetings, it's actually been a little one-sided. 10 blocks in those 2 games for Virginia Wesleyan, just 2 for Lynchburg. Those 2 came in the first meeting. One of those 2 for T.C. Thacker, who obviously we're not going to see today. So already a 1-0 advantage in that spot for Virginia Wesleyan. But really, the root of that conversation is if the Hornets struggle to shoot from beyond the arc, how much harder does it get to score inside, which is exactly what Miles Taylor does here to open up today's scoring.
So a shot there from Miles Taylor and a shot from Izzy Lockamy. I think Lockamy is going to be a big X factor for Lynchburg if he can be that 3rd or 2nd scorer for the Hornets. Scored a career high 24 just a couple of games ago in a win against Washington and Lee.
Halfway down, then back out for Fisher, but looking at the last 3 games for Lockamy, you're right. 24, a career high against Washington and Lee. Then a quiet night at Ferrum, only 5 in that contest. But then against Virginia Wesleyan on Saturday the 19th, 18 points against the Marlins. So it's been a mostly hot finish to the regular season for Lockamy as Fisher able to finish through contact, ties us up 2-2. And now Tim Fisher, first team all-conference honoree, with a chance to move Virginia Wesleyan ahead for the first time this evening.
Marlins man, going to the line.
I like that comp. The Marlins man always seems to be the center of the attention. I feel like you could say the same thing there with Tim Fisher.
He's always there. He hasn't missed a game.
Now we just gotta get a special Tim Fisher jersey. He switches out night in and night out. Fisher good on the free throw attempt. He's a solid shooter from the line in the regular season, 69.4%. The Marlins lead 3-2.
Something we've seen here early from the Marlins, pushing in pressure. Lynchburg, if you're going to have so many rebounds to lead the conference, you're going to have a lot of guys inside the painted area. That opens up a possibility for the other team to run in transition.
Taylor trying to back down Pelham. Back out to the transfer from Ferrum College. This is Carrington Young. Far side low post. Right-handed layup no good. Rebound for Eric Rowland.
Carrington Young, a 5th-year guy. He knows his role. As that 3 goes in for Jordan Crump, one of the better 3-point shooters on this team. But as I was saying about Carrington Young, he does all the intangibles. Some of the stuff that may not show up on the box score, playing hard defense, good ball movement. He passes to Lockamy there.
Crump had 3 threes in the season finale against Lynchburg. Got his first tonight. Suggs well off the mark. And it'll be Omri DeVoe to bring it across half court. Finding Pelham. DeVoe the lone freshman in the starting five. Pelham lets it fly, touches nothing but nylon, and an early timeout used by Coach Hillary Scott as the Hornets trail 9-2. Slow start for Lynchburg. It's a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. And this is, again, going back to the three-point shooting. No shot from beyond the arc so far for the Hornets, but 2 for 2 start for Virginia Wesleyan. And in these early returns, that's enough of a difference to make it, hey, a 7-point lead for Virginia Wesleyan.
And something that I'm looking for, maybe Hornet fans are feeling a little anxious, is that first one to fall for Theron Suggs. This is a guy who at one point in the middle of December was averaging 25 points per game over a four-game stretch. He can score with the top players in Division III basketball, but one thing that he needs to do is get started early. He's a microwave. In a game against William Peace, he scored 19 points in 6 minutes. And you know how he did that, TJ? Shooting the ball from 3.
I was at that game at William Peace, and I haven't seen many openings to a contest quite like that for Theron Suggs. It was truly remarkable to watch. But to your point, he's a microwave. He heats up quick. It just comes down to seeing some of those shots fall. But Virginia Wesleyan's had Suggs' number in the 2 meetings this regular season. 3 of 19 shooting from the floor, 1 for 5 from beyond the arc. So seemingly some kryptonite to Lynchburg Superman. And Suggs turns it over. Crump in transition with the right hand makes it 11-2.
Crump had 14 in the opening win at Virginia Wesleyan against Lynchburg. He's on pace to do a little bit more than that here. But the steal converted to the bucket on the other end.
Crump with 5 already, had 17 in that second meeting, 14. The game played at Virginia Wesleyan. Down low, down Dunton. Gets the offensive rebound. How about a second? Defended by Fisher, he'll back it out. Suggs has 12 seconds on the shot clock to work with. Taylor pulls up, leaves the shot off the front of the rim.
The box score shows second chance points, but how about third chance points there? 2 offensive rebounds for Dow Dunton, and the Hornets are going to have to convert on those extra possessions because they're out rebounding Virginia Wesleyan in their 2 losses, but that hasn't made a difference yet because they haven't been able to convert.
Speaking of offensive rebounds, Virginia Wesleyan gets one of their own. Chance to push the lead into double figures. Fisher against Dunton. We'll see a whole lot of that this evening. Right-handed hook, left short, backed out to Crump. Over to DeVoe for 3 off the side of the iron. Rebound for Carrington Young. And Young, that combo guard forward type, doesn't bring it across fully half court, but certainly a player you can see do that for Lynchburg. Suggs fading away, rattles it through. You call him a microwave. I've often described him as a tough shot taker and a tough shot maker. It seemingly, though, works opposite to basketball intuitive knowledge. Almost feels like the harder the shot for Suggs, the higher the percentage look it is.
I was just about to say something similar, TJ. Usually you need to see a layup go in, maybe make a free throw. How about Theron Suggs just needs to see a fadeaway baseline jumper to start feeling a little more confident. Something easy for him.
Suggs saying his favorite player growing up was the late Kobe Bryant, and on a shot like that, I mean, it doesn't get much more clear and evident that that's who he modeled his game after. I like to call him a Joe Johnson clone, but of the same ilk.
Subbing into the game for the Hornets now is Noah Bullock. He's a junior point guard. And how important is it for the Hornets to have such veteran presence coming off the bench as a ball handler? He started almost every game last season in the championship run season they had, losing to Randolph-Macon, but he's got a lot of postseason experience here as a junior coming off the bench.
We saw Bullock pour in a season-best 11 2 games back at Ferrum. But even more than the scoring ability, it's that veteran leadership and that know-how with the basketball, finding open teammates, running the offense for Coach Hillary Scott. Lynchburg stays resilient on the offensive side, foul on the floor. First to go against Virginia Wesleyan.
So here's something we see the Hornets do better than anyone else in the conference, and that's getting the free points from the stripe. Izzy Lockham's going to have a chance here. And that's another, I guess it's something you have to throw into the box score now, third chance points, because 2 offensive rebounds there on that possession for the Hornets, and now Izzy Lockham has a chance to fill in that spot of the box score.
Jordan Crump checks out. Back onto the floor is Omri DeVoe. Also should mention far side low block, Evan Tabay into the contest for the first time today. Next to him is Anthony Jackson for the Marlins. Lockamy goes 1 for 2 from the line. Lynchburg, like you said, first in the ODAC shooting from the free throw line as a team, 74.4%. Lockamy even better, 76.3%. So a more rare miss than not. Makes it a 6-point game. Kevin Nicholson, nice find. DeVoe, the beneficiary, pushes the lead to 8.
Nicholson's an interesting matchup to watch down low. You know, missing the presence of T.C. Thacker down low. Nicholson stands at 6'6", and not only can he make 67% of his field goals, but how about that assist he just had there?
Offensive rebound, no good on the second chance opportunity for Carrington Young. And it's another miss on the forefront of that play for Suggs. Mid-range jumper, true for Jackson. Lead touches double digits for the first time tonight.
These two teams are playing very different styles of basketball on the two sides of the court. A pull-up jumper on the fast break for Virginia Wesleyan.
Dunton, a pair of offensive rebounds. Young to Suggs for 3. Off back iron. Another offensive rebound. Now it's Bullock hoisting the triple. Gets it to go.
Noah Bullock is going to have to step up like he did in that game on the road at Ferrum. We saw, you know, there's another second chance opportunity, and Lynchburg's shooting from 3, and their offensive rebounds are going to keep him in this game.
Give a 3, get a 3. Corey Pelham with the answer.
And there's a 10-point lead for Virginia Wesleyan. Playing at such a fast speed, it's hard for the Hornets to catch their breath.
Compared to previous matchups, it does feel like the tempo has found a different gear. Lockamy touches the rim twice, ultimately a miss, and Tabay gets the board. DeVoe crosses right to left, foul on the floor. And that will send us to the under 14 media timeout. 8-point lead in the early goings for Virginia Wesleyan. You're watching the ODAC quarterfinals.